mountain. Again, that's here in Phoenix. I rushed out of the house, determined never to come back. Ellipses agreed with my decision. Night fell onto the campgrounds. I had been sitting in the woods for a few hours, trembling at every noise. What was that? The spot that I've chosen was far away from the path, so again, it was the freaking path where they had a campfire, so everyone knows where it is. Ooh, nice smog effect. Or fog, excuse me. I was keeping a few plans in my head for the time being. To try to run, to kill every single person in camp. Yes, they all must die. They all must die. What? However, on the other hand, one thought chased me, and I realized that I shouldn't behave like this because of some strange pioneer, or even because of a strange message on my phone. I mean, it could be anything. All of this was reinforcing the thought that everything happening here was far from normal. However, there was no proof that anyone in this camp had anything to do with it, except for the 2 clones of yourself. I could have stayed here until morning, lost in my own thoughts, but I heard footsteps coming from somewhere nearby. Oh, come on, dude. You don't have any boobs. I'm not interested in you. Shoo. So, you decided to escape after all. I turned around but couldn't see. Again, light or dark, I can't see your face. Nevertheless, I was pretty sure it was him. I was afraid then. I wasn't afraid then, rather. More precisely, I was physically exhausted. Heart attack, hold on. Again, from the shock. I was so physically exhausted that I was prepared for any possible course of events, and somehow managed to reason the appropriate main of conversation, blah blah blah. I wouldn't call this an escape. Nice epic music, by the way. I answered slowly, stretching each word. Huh. Then what is it? A tactical retreat. Brilliant. He burst into laughter. Listen, why don't you tell me what's going on here? Who are you and what do you want from me? What did that guy tell you at the gate? It seemed that he didn't even hear my question. He told me not to trust you. I lied. Wait a minute. Oh, what did the guy? He told me not to trust you. What do you mean you lied? That is what he said, wasn't it? Hold on. Exactly, I want to find you. I didn't know, so I leap to step forward, building. Mess it over. No. I don't know who you are. There you go, Pioneer. You'll understand. Remember, he may not be alone, or more likely alone. A Pioneers can like him. Did he give you advice? Tell him. I guess he didn't tell me not to trust him. You know who, and I definitely... Yeah, he told me not to trust him. And then why did I say to myself that I lied? Because that is what that one told me. Interesting. But on the other hand, I thought that it was what he meant. Because he freaking said, I just looked up, he said, don't trust him. Hey, I'm pretty sure that's what he meant when he said it verbatim. Maybe I'm drunk, I don't know. I am drunk, I just... Well, that's always a way for him. Running away. Hiding. I could hear the irritation in his voice. I'm not sure what kind of circus you're running here, but I'm not going to be part of it. Oh, why not? You're the star, after all. I couldn't see his face, but I bet yes, he is smiling. I can actually see his face. I don't know why you can't. It's clearly drawn and it is a smile. Explain my part, then. You know, I was like you in the beginning. Young, naive, and chasing after everything with a set of boobs. The first time, everything went peacefully. No, it didn't. The first time, I ended up pissing off Alice, having sex with her, which was great, by the way. It was censored the first time, but at least that happened. I mean, it sucked that she wasn't happy at the end. Both of the story and the sex. But what? Then I escaped. I tried to understand what was going on. Got mad and even tortured them to get the truth. He laughed crazily. I shivered. But it was pointless. Continued the pioneer after a comment. Pointless. And then I began to notice the lapses. At first, I just heard voices from a distance, and sometimes in my head, the vague silhouettes appeared. Then, slowly, took on physical form, and finally, they stepped in my world. I could touch them, have sex with them. It was actually kind of nice. What? Introduced them to other pioneers, and they were all different. Different! Don't you get it? Different. He started shouting, and it reoccurred again and again. You can get used to the loops, but then I learned how to get into the worlds by myself, to interact with others. But it turned out that I'm not alone. There are lots of us. A matter of fact, the game's been downloaded millions of times. What? Today, you saw at least one more. He felt silent. I didn't know what question to ask, and I didn't want to interrupt this story, so I simply waited. After a minute, he continued. It's not that simple, of course. And it's not always possible. Only under certain circumstances. When you feel strong emotions, for example. Like when your pants don't fit as well as they used to and they're tighter. Wink, wink. I instantly remember how I saw his face for the first time. The time when I didn't feel any emotions at all. Including the moments when you feel happy. As if he was reading my thoughts. I see. So you're trying to say that there are several parallel worlds, excuse me, speech impediment, worlds, including the same camp with its inhabitants, where I am replaced by you or that guy I met at the bus stop. Yeah, something like that. His answer didn't surprise me at all. In the end, it was clear that whatever happens here is beyond any limits of human understanding, and this theory didn't seem at all that unusual. But you said, excuse me, that everything reoccurs. Yes, it recurs. And what will happen afterwards? You'll start from the very beginning. Wake up on the bus, listen to some J-pop, and wonder about that cat girl. Meet Olga, the girl's electronic. But if it happens to you, then why should it happen to me as well? It happens to everyone. Once again, he laughed hysterically. How many loops have you experienced so far? I stopped counting them already. At first, I tried to remember them though. Maybe a few hundred. No wonder. It was very clear to me that this guy was suffering from progressive mental dysfunction. But you searched for a way out, didn't you? He didn't answer. That's why that guy at the bus stop was talking about. Because he doesn't understand it, damn it! He shouted. Because he's like you, constantly running away and hiding from the truth. What would you suggest then? If I had any suggestions, I wouldn't be here standing talking to you. Alright, but you're trying. Or rather, you were trying, weren't you? Are you trying to understand? It's the same voice. Why am I trying to change? Anyway, are you trying to understand what I know since I've been here for a long time? He asked cheerfully. Well, that's pretty evident, isn't it? Yes, I did try running away from here. There, he waved towards the forest, is nothing. Nothing's over there. Nothing but trees. When I'd been walking there for several days and finally passed out, I found myself on the bus again. Same for walking along the road. It's endless. Talking to someone about it is pointless. You probably already understand that by yourself. I did. I interjected. Even if you try to explain your situation directly, or strip off your clothes and become a nudist, they all just react the same. What? No. But again, I still think that's a viable path. If you think this is insane, just do something crazy and see what happens. At best, you'll just be considered an idiot. What if you tried not to leave the bus? It's pointless. Sooner or later, you'll be found. I even tried to spend an entire time there. In the end, I fell asleep and everything started from the beginning. And what if you start it by yourself, or stop by yourself and leave? No keys. And I don't have any card. Well, if you've been repeating this over and over again, there's something called trial and error. You can keep trying if you've been doing it 100 fucking times. Click the buttons enough. Anyways, a cursed cycle. Exactly. A long silence fell. Finally, I asked, and what about the people around here? Don't they raise absolutely reasonable suspicions? Suspicions? Laughed again. The only thing that's suspicious about them is that no matter how many times you tell them, they stare at you with their eyes out of their stall. What? They stare at you with their eyes out on stalks. They stare at you with their eyes out on stalks. I have honestly never heard that before. Out on stalks. Is that a meaning I'm missing? I don't know. Probably so. Drink. The people. I feared them at first too. Then I used them for different experiments. Yeah, have you got to the harem ending? The Harlem ending is something completely different. You play basketball against the Washington Generals. No, the harem ending. And now, I don't consider them humans. They're all dolls, puppets. You can easily predict any reaction, any word or reaction, any word or action. So, they aren't worth fearing, are they? The ones worth fearing is yourself, he said softly. Do you know how funny it is when a human bones crack as they slowly break from this tension? Looks like he's finally lost his marbles. Listen, I understand everything, but the other one thinks that that's a bit too much. But it doesn't matter. Nobody but you is real here. The pioneer suddenly felt sad. Well, no, I don't agree with you. You're probably thinking, why don't I check all this by myself, aren't you? Why don't I try to reach the nearest village or town? Yes, those are my thoughts. Why wasn't I suspicious? Why was I doing different stuff instead of searching for answers? Well, yes. Forget about it. That's normal. We all behave like this for the first time. By the way, there's a union. You have to pay fees. There's about 100 of us. We get together every 10th run of the camp, and we have this big kegger at the pool hall. But how many others have you seen so far? Not that many. The pioneer was lost in thought. About 10 people, maybe. But I'm sure there's many more of them. And is everyone like this? In fact, yes. Only the details are different, but the main thing is irreversible. Excuse me. There are no ways out of here. And by the way, you're just like the majority of them. The only thing that's different is that you have everything from... If you've heard everything from me instead of experiencing it yourself. I didn't know if I should thank him for that, though. Well, and what now? Nothing, he said shortly. I closed my eyes and lost myself in thought, conveniently giving him a chance to disappear. That was a critical mistake. Yeah, he disappeared. Big surprise. When I opened my eyes, I didn't see him. I didn't see anybody, just like in previous times. So it's clear what's going on now. But in fact, how could everything he said guide me to an answer? Yes, I am not alone. Yes, everything recurs. But what's the reason for all this? And what, more importantly, was the way out? The only useful thing that I extracted from that conversation was that the local inhabitants were nothing to fear. And that was quite significant for me for now, since it was much better to sleep in a warm cabin instead of the forest. I sighed, took my things, and headed back to see Olga. As I was walking, the conversation with my fellow sufferer popped in my mind every now and then. Why did I not ask about the message on the phone? And, some other stuff. Like, what is the correct way to get with Sylvia, Olga, the nurse? How many times? Is a nurse really as good as she looks? I mean, anything. There were hints, after all. Maybe, if I had found some detail out, I could draw some conclusions. However, it didn't seem like our meeting would be the last one. The lights were on in Olga's cabin. I opened the door and gently went in. Again, she looked pouty at me. Speak of the devil! Here you are, the camp leader said angrily. Olga, I'm so tired now. So, how about we put off the lecture to morning? Tired? From what, I wonder? Well, I had sex with all the other cabin girls. How about that, huh? Can I go to sleep now? From everything, I snapped rudely. The camp leader looked at me surprised. I fell into bed without undressing. No, whatever. Simon, a role model pioneer shouldn't behave like that. And how should I behave then? Well, not like that. The camp leader stumbled for a moment as if struggling to pick the right words. Oh, look how disappointed she looks. He should respect his seniors. I respect you immensely, for sure. Simon, the sarcasm in my voice didn't go unnoticed. And now, I'd like to sleep. Wait, by the way, how far is the nearest town? When does the bus arrive, and how can I even get out of here? I asked in a surprisingly calm voice. There was no answer, and there shouldn't have been any. I said all this just in order to get rid of her. Why are you silent? I'm tired. Let's talk about this tomorrow. The camp leader got up, turned off the lights, and went to bed. Yeah, it's just like that guy said. Why did I speak to him so calmly and properly, I wonder? I should have been shivering from horror, The pioneer didn't have much credibility, but I had a feeling that he was unable to harm me. As soon as I thought that it would be a good idea to ask someone else, fatigue overtook me, and I passed out. And that should be the end of day, yep. So day 7 is supposed to be the last day. Last time someone popped up next day here, but they didn't this time. So there you go. And again, there's no choice in that day. So this is a natural break, as they say, for video editing. So I'll end this video here. I'll start over again, mainly after I go refill my drink. So thanks again for watching. Let's see how this all ends, because I have a very bad feeling that this is going to be the general bad ending, that I fucked up and don't get to have sex with anyone. Just like real life. Anyways, see you next time.